Welcome back to Stroked, the art of mental stimulation. You guys already know what time it is, man. We touch subject depths that most people aren't willing to go. We're really raw. We're really honest. Get ready. You already know what time.
You're about to get stroked all the way up.
All the way up, man. It might even be the stroked experience, man. What do you think?
Well, I think stimulation of the mind is important, because everything is connected through the body. So ask yourself a few questions. I'm sorry for diving in.
Dive, man. Just a reminder, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That's very important so you can keep up with all the episodes that are coming about. I promise you don't want to miss it, man. And no one is hitting these subjects like we're touching them. I mean, no one's stroking the brain like we're stroking the brain. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Back to your regular show.
Nobody wants to go deep.
Man.
Just to catch the analogy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
One of the things that I want to understand, as a person, even myself, because, I look in the mirror and I check myself and I want to understand everything that I'm going through and, experiencing with people in this world, because one of the things that we have to be about is love. So can you find yourself? And why is it that we look to others for the answers?
I already know where you're going with that, man. That's validation.
That's what it sounds like.
Why do we look to others for validation, man? Everything that we are, we need someone else or another being to just justify what we believe about ourselves, what we know about ourselves, man. I don't know. How do we even get there? What bred it?
Judgment is a part of that.
That's a big one, man.
Because, when you think about validation, you're looking for approval with another person.
Right.
That sounds like you're looking for your judge to tell you what to do.
What do you think most people would be if, we didn't look for validation? Like, what versions of ourselves would we be? What levels do you think most people would be on if we wasn't thinking about anything, just being free and just being ourselves, not worrying about anybody?
Well, see, that's a hard one for me because I immediately think that most of us as people are going to look to someone else for some type of information at some point.
Information and validation, you think they're the same thing?
I think it coincides and it can collide, and that's where the damage is.
Okay, so what makes validation, and what makes validation more on the negative side then?
Validation is the looking for approval, like you're perfect, you can't make any mistakes.
Okay, that's a good point.
So when you look to another person, you're looking for their approval for whatever mistake you ever made.
Right.
So you can't do that, though.
Go ahead, like even starting businesses, chasing your dreams, man. And I'm talking to you guys, but as usual, I mean, we're human too. We've been in these same situations, experienced these same things, and going out for your dream, you looking for cheerleaders, man. You look for people to tell you it's good. You looking for people to tell you it's okay. But when you're in that zone and you're creating, I mean, you love it. You feel it from your soul or whatever. But when you get on there, that social media kill it. That social media kill it with something like that, man. Because if you ain't got 50,000 likes and if you ain't got 100 million views, man, you get stagnant, you get sad, you quit.
So immediately you have a program coming up in the mind.
Right. They wrote this new program.
Oh, man, look, it's so sad because one of the things we have to do for ourselves is, we mentioned the mirror concept on multiple episodes.
Right.
And one of the things that we have to do is look at ourselves genuinely and ask ourselves questions, even the ones that you are afraid of.
Right.
See, when you're not afraid of the questions you ask yourself in the mirror, you will not look for someone else's approval.
Got you. I was just thinking too, when you're looking for validation, does that determine your atmosphere, the people you have around you? Because when you're looking for validation like that, I mean, you would tend to only keep people around you that's saying the things you like or seeing the things that you see, because you want them to say yes all the time. You want them to be pleased all the time.
So in my own mind, I think I'm kind of comical. I go, okay, psycho. Let's analyze that real fast.
Right.
Psycho to me is a derivative of psychologist. Mm-hmm. So you study the mind so it can make you crazy if you're not careful.
Man.
Yeah, your atmosphere easily can be indicative of such.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I can see that, like, I don't know, what they call them, yes men?
Sure.
Yes men. You
walk right off the cliff.
Keep a group of yes men around you, man, because they're going to validate you or whatever. But it's never about them, though. It's all about you. It's all about what you think, where you are on your journey, where you are on your path, man. We never need that.
Well, that sounds narcissistic. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? It's all about you?
It's all about you first and foremost. It got to be about you first and foremost, man. It got to be about you.
Self-love.
It has to be. You can't love others if you can't love yourself.
Look at the reflection in the water. That's what you're talking about right now.
That's narcissism.
Oh, Well, you got to check yourself in the mirror.
I got you. Hey, you can look at yourself in the water, just don't stare too long.
Right. Shouldn't be enamored with yourself.
Right. I mean,
check your ego at the door.
I like the word enamored, though, man.
But check your ego at the door. Pride is before a crash.
Oh, yeah. Check that episode out, man. We got that. Go check that Pride episode out. Man, we got so much good material coming on here, man, that, I don't know. You might want to start from one and just drive it. I got off on a tangent because I love our work, man. But, yeah, validation. Has there ever been a point in your life where you feel like looking for validation kind of held you back and stagnated your growth and you had to learn from it? Or you kind of always been like you are? Because you're kind of like a free bird, man. You move through life like it's your own beat. But,
well, I do, and I have always been that way, but I do have to tell you a particular story. I'll never forget when my grandmother told me, at one time in my life, I was in a situation where, I thought I was leading a group of people or a part of leading a group of people. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother told me something like, that equated to check yourself at the door. So here's the analogy. I'm sitting there and I say, "Nah, Ma, they follow me. I don't follow them."
Just like that, you told her.
Yeah, and you know what she told me?
What?
If they're doing everything you already doing, who's leading who?
Oh, wow. Mama's smart.
Validation.
Mama's smart, man.
I was in my teens, man, and I'm so grateful to God that God provided me a grandmother that would be a representative as a mom.
Right. My dad, he reared us to not look for validation from anyone but God. I mean, he reared us like that. He put it in us. We strong. We walk around. Some people say we try to be too independent or whatever. They look at it like that when you don't need much validation. But, I came to points in my life, no matter what he taught me, I still look for it. I still look for the beaten paths that other people have taken because it's a safe route.
You're trying to find people that are like-minded.
Right.
So validation can carry a positive and a negative. Every word that exists in the English language can carry a positive or a negative.
I got you, yeah.
Like take narcissism. But anyway, my point is when we do that, we do need people, right?
Yeah, we do.
We do need to be accepted, right? Mm-hmm. We need to be a part of something. At the end of the day, the independency is murderous to the soul.
It really is, though, because you always need somebody.
If you take the Western civilization's concept, North America, and it talks about that we were created not to be alone.
Who thought otherwise?
So
why
do we think we don't need validation to an extent? I
mean, yeah, to an extent. Or could we call that validation or positive reinforcement or something? Is that the same thing?
It's the same thing.
You think validation and positive reinforcement. Mm-hmm. I guess when you say you're looking at validation on the positive side. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of is. That's what you're looking for, but you shouldn't depend on that.
No,
you shouldn't depend on
that.
No,
that's dangerous because see, we become crippling. Mm-hmm. When we start looking for validation, let's look at the negative connotation for a second. When you start looking at the validation part, you're looking for somebody to make you feel good, right? So you become needy.
Mm-hmm. And then kids in school, man. Right now, this new generation, validation is the biggest thing for them in every way. I always mention social media, but I know some kids, man, that's like. Growing up, they were, super intelligent, smart, goofy. They did all kind of other things. And as they got in that atmosphere, maybe in their teen years, they were influenced by these other kids and they look for validation. So they do certain things they wouldn't normally do. Or they putting on this mask and they being someone that they're not. And I know for a fact they're not. So validation is a big thing.
Oh, yeah, man. It's corruptible if you're not careful.
Right. On the negative side of the spectrum.
It can be.
It can be, man.
If you're not careful, validation can knock you off the course of life.
That's a big one.
I like to think of it that way because the course of life is an influence that's beyond the spirit, beyond your body.
Okay.
So when you allow that to be the case, and one of my favorite scriptures, I'm so sorry, man, but Jeremiah 10:23 is one of my favorite scriptures.
You always say that.
It doesn't belong to flesh, a person, a human being.
Right.
To navigate its course.
Got you.
One of the things that we have in our world and our society is ideology. Now, once we get captured in ideology, it's so easy to start seeking validation.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. It's easy to lose your identity within validation, man.
There you go.
Forget who you are. If you constantly searching validation and reinforcement from other people, sometimes it's going to slow you down, man. You're going to lose yourself. That journey to find yourself is going to be a little longer. So, move from the heart, move from the core, move from God, whatever you believe in. I mean, people going to give you criticism. You know, they're going to give you criticism of what you should be doing or what's right, what's wrong. Some people have laid the blueprint. Of course, you're going to read it or whatever and try to do what they did to get to where they got to or whatever, or even further. But you shouldn't look for validation for other people, man.
Man, I got to plug a book real quick, Atlas of the Heart.
I have that book and I've yet to read it.
See, one of our biggest energies, when people start thinking of chakra and stuff like that, your heart is, they say it has more sensitivity to it, synapses to it than the brain. The synapses is what fires. And if somebody wants to check me on that, please correct me, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right.
Give me the proper word. I'd love it. But anyway, you have neurons. You have all this electricity that's, going through the body. Mm-hmm. The heart is one of the most massive pieces of energy in the body.
It's one of the most interesting ones for sure.
So when you feel something, you should trust that it should flow. Now, our consciousness is what we're supposed to control. See, that's why ideology becomes a dangerous thing, because ideology will cause us to seek approval, somebody's gang.
Why did my mind just go there? And I was just about to say that. I'm like, that brings me to gang life. A lot of people in gangs are looking for validation, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. They're looking for love. They're looking for wholeness. I got people that got my back groupness.
But here you go. That's a lack of a father figure immediately.
So you think only, so that's with girls too? You think there's no father that makes them want to join the gang? No one telling them they're beautiful. No one telling you you're amazing.
Yes.
Dang. That's a cool. We got an episode on that too. Right. Wow. That's a big one, the way you just said that. The father. Listen, the fathers will make you want to go out and join the gang. Not if your mother's not there. It's when the father's missing that most people join gang. Wow. So most people looking for the most validation when they don't have a father in the home.
Right, because a mother is typically nurturing. A father typically is not, but a father is usually about discipline. That's psychology, though. So we need the structure in general,
right,
to function in a world that is conscious.
Right, man, you hitting it. That's the one right there, though, because when it come to dad, he the disciplinarian. He the one to keep you in line. So if he's missing, that's when you get out of line for real. Mama let you get away with a couple things.
But you made me laugh for a split second, because analogy says that girls usually have daddy issues.
They do.
Right. What are they seeking?
Love.
Validation.
And love from dad.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You want a male figure to tell him all these great things about him. It starts with that.
I need your approval.
Right. Because when mom tell you, it's like you telling me the same thing. You just telling me something. When dad tell you, he the male species, it's like, okay, it's real if daddy tell me. I get it, man. But, man, validation, that's something I want to get out of. Because, I still look for her here and there. For certain people, whatever, but it just don't stop me. It don't hinder me, man. If I'm doing something and a lot of people ain't agreeing with it, not validating it, I still keep pushing forward. That's just me, man. I listen, but if I got a dream, a path, a purpose, I'm just moving, man. But we're human. So what do you say what people should do with that, though? That should be an easy one. No, validation.
Well, at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself and ask yourself, what is it that you're about? We'll always go back to principles like this. When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? Wow. Right? Mm-hmm. It's real simple. It's basic.
Right. What do you see with your eye? What do you see with your spirit? What do you see?
All right. So look at all your positives. Mm-hmm. What things do you want to change about yourself that continues to hold you? Mm-hmm. Have a hold on you.
Right.
In other words, that's a representation of something that's negative. You don't need another person to tell you that. You don't need it to be.
Right.
That's not the necessity. Mm-hmm. Now, when you have someone in your life, that's why you choose your friends wisely.
Right.
When you have someone in your life, they can give you constructive criticism. Right? That's not validation.
Got you, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it.
But if you're always trying to get somebody's opinion, see, guess what? You're searching.
Searching.
When you're always telling
for the answer that you want to hear, though. Mm-hmm. All right, you're searching for the one answer you want to hear. Mm-hmm. But you ain't listening to the majority. You're searching for that one. And that brings me to, I was speaking with someone the other day, and I was like, you find a lot of attractive women, I don't know, the self-esteem be low, whatever, and what you find is they got people telling them they're beautiful all day. They got people telling them they're great all day. They got people telling them they're smart all day. For some reason, I was wondering, why do they pause and stop and spend the most time with that person that's saying otherwise, low vibrational, bringing them down, a little jealous or whatever, or just don't want them to be at their higher selves. Why do they spend the most time with the person telling them opposite of what the rest of the world is telling them?
Well, we've become accustomed to stuff like that. That's one of the things that we have to understand. When your primary world is negative, your atmosphere, you and I talked about that a little earlier about the atmosphere we created, right? So when we have the tendency to have an atmosphere around us that's negative, that's familiarity. Right. So through that type of environment, we seek validation within it somehow.
Right. That means
maybe they can connect to us or correlate with us or relate to us when it comes to something in that negative world.
Got you.
That's still validation seeking.
It's still validation, man. So what it is when this person is telling them these things, I mean, when they look in the mirror themselves, they don't see that beauty. I mean, they don't see that stuff inside of them. For you to easily fall prey to the one person saying all this stuff, that means you already got this stuff in your head about yourself. You already have these ideas about yourself. Just because the world may see you as beautiful and this and this and this, it's something dark within you that's making you see otherwise. So that's why you kind of go towards that person to see that. And you want to kind of change their mind. We just talked about the toxicity. You want to kind of change their mind, want them to see different because, you believe them. You think they got to be telling the truth because that's what you see too. So
let me ask you a question though. Do you think our world could be better? You think we can get past seeking validation if we were all genuinely complimentary?
But that's a big one, man, because that's like a perfect world. But I see, yeah.
Call it a utopia if you want. I'm just asking because I don't see a problem with me being genuine with you.
Right. But people have a hard time doing that.
But I'm just asking.
Yeah, I know, man. That'd be like, I don't know. That'd be like God got to come down here for that to happen. People are not going to do that, man. Just walk around, just being complimentary, showing love, whatever. Mm-hmm. They so protected. Number one, they think being kind, what they say, kindness is weakness. Mm-hmm. Right, so they really believe that. So, they kind of closed off with it. I wish it was that easy. It's very a simple fix. And I read a thing today that say life is hard because it's easy, which means people make it hard. It's so simple that people make it hard. It's really simple, man.
What they say, kiss?
Kiss? Keep it short and sweet? Well, what kiss you talking about, man?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, I like that one too. We used to use that one.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Heard them both.
I like them, man.
So, the crazy thing is, I don't understand why we can't get down to basics. You and I discuss a variety of things. Who heals the healer? Understanding 101. Pride is before a crash.
Right.
Be careful in life, man. So, my struggle with people is I don't understand what you're afraid of. I start thinking stuff like most people must be afraid to be alone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Most people must be afraid to die.
Oh, yeah.
Which is loneliness again.
Mm-hmm. Dying alone?
Dying alone.
Right.
And it's like, man, connect to a person and see how life can electrify you.
When people been dealt so many hands, they had a lot of betrayal and all that. It's like you said, it can be so simple and say connect to a person, but it's so many variables when it comes to that, man. That makes, that kind of hard for most people. It shouldn't be, but it does. So you're just supposed to keep, I guess, trying over and over and over and just putting yourself out there?
Do you need their approval?
You don't need their approval, though.
So be you every day.
But how do we start with the basics? I always go back to school, childhood, man. Starting young, I always try to reach the young people so maybe a generation can take this stuff and kind of change it. So that's why I always go back, that's cool, or childhood, whatever. What do you think could be done when it comes to not needing validation? Or recognizing that, you can't just get stuck in looking for validation. What can we do as a young child?
I'll use an example. I remember growing up countrified. I wore Wranglers and a big old belt buckle and boots. Now, if you saw me in California in the same type of outfit, what would you say?
What would they say? Probably laugh you all the way back to wherever you come from.
So why change it, though? Somebody changing your mind.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, though. They're looking for that validation.
So why do that? What's wrong with the way you are?
Right. Nothing is wrong. So that's what it is. You got to get it in their head young. You got to start with their youth. Teach them there's nothing wrong. Let them be weird. Let them go to school with the cape on, the superhero stuff.
Well, weird is just different.
Yeah. Let them wear their hair and their style that's going to make all the kids laugh. But teach them.
I don't know if you should wear a Superman outfit.
Why?
That's good.
Teach them confidence.
What grade?
Any grade. If you want to be
if you in high school, no, I'm just kidding.
If you're in high school and you want to wear a cape, you wear a cape because your mind should be so strong if we do our job in society that none of that matters to you. You know?
Real talk, that's one of the biggest problems with school in general. You can't be your independent self anyway. So when you live in a caged environment, guess what we learn automatically? Conformity.
I would say to follow. Right. You got to be, but nothing wrong.
So no, but I'm going to tell people, man, look, be careful in the world we live in. The world is a little dangerous in the sense that conformity is so primary. That's one of the biggest reasons why we're handicapped mentally and thinking that we need somebody else's validation.
I can see a group of kids, and you look at those group of kids, and look like the same kid over and over. They got the same style, uniform. Conforming, uniform, same style, same everything, same hairstyle, same mannerisms. It's crazy, man. It's just like I don't know. It's like they really processed this word. They programmed it. They wrote the program they wanted and they implemented it.
You want to create a new wave?
I've been said that, man. I still want to do what's the school I said about independent youth?
Hey, man, look, we'll come back to that one. Wait a little bit.
I'm telling you, man, because every time we talk about everything, it starts from the beginning. We always talk about the blank slate, and it starts from the beginning. It starts from the beginning, man. It got to be a reason why we keep saying it starts from the beginning. Because that's where it started, man. But, yeah, man, love yourself. Teach love. Teach your kids love. Show kindness, man. And then just be okay with who you are, no matter what. Be okay when you make mistakes. No matter what. Like, you don't need validation. If you say you need to change it, get up and take the steps to change it.
One of the things we have to do for ourselves is always constantly evolve. Always do better for yourself. When you do that, you'll be better for people around you. So when you better yourself, you better people around you. That's the atmosphere you're creating within yourself, and that projects outside of you.
Right.
Okay? You don't need a person's approval for doing something that's progressive and healthy. Right. So that's one of the things we have to check ourselves in the mirror about. When you look in the mirror, what is it that you see?
So long as you're doing something progressive and helpful, it shouldn't matter what people think, because as long as it's your core and your heart, you know the reasons for doing it.
Well, yeah, your intentions need to be checked at the door.
Pure
Ask
intentions.
yourself, that needs to be your motive.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you have to also check this fact. You know, another person's perspective about progression is not the most important thing.
Right.
We hold ourselves accountable if we truly believe in it.
And people value different things too.
They do.
So just this person might value something that you do not value, and they hold it up high, and now you're looking for validation, so you're chasing whatever they hold high as the quality and what's the criteria, what meets the criteria. So that might not even be the way you want to go. So number one, like we said in the last episode, we're different people. We're all living our own movie. We're all looking at things from our own perspective. So just be mindful of that, man. Just go with it, whatever you got going on.
I like that.
You like it? Okay, write it down. Use it. You know, I was just saying, I'm going to say this on this mic because we probably going to be wrapping up shortly. And I'm going to say this on this mic, and I just said this to him before we started. What happened to the poems you used to share on here, Maya D'Angelo? What happened? So I'm saying, so you're telling me like next episode or something, we might have one, because we're going to make you write. We're going to get you on this mic.
You know, they say patience is a virtue.
You know what I want? I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to see. We're talking about validation here today. If you guys keep up with us, you already know what's next. You already know what we do. You already know Vibe for Five Friday coming. So maybe my brother will bless us with a few words on Vibe for Five Friday, man. Maybe he'll do that for us, man.
About validation.
About validation. You always say pick a word. I picked the word.
Well, I'll break it down into simple terms. Validation does not need a nation. If you're not careful, look into another to create something within yourself. It's constipation.
Not the constipation, man.
Well, you clog yourself up and you lose your mind.
Lessons learned.
Well, the wind will blow, and destiny is in the test of time.
And we supposed to wait till Vibe for Five Friday. It seems like we just got something in, man. Just like that.
Well, you know what they call that.
When did you write that?
That was right there.
Oh, right there in the moment, on the spot.
I don't know. It sounded crazy to me, to be honest.
No, once you listen to it, wait till you hear this. Play this back. When you play this back, you're going to get your little notebook out and you're going to write that down. That was a good one, man.
You want me to hit you with it again?
One more time.
Validation.
You better not say it the same way.
Be careful. That's how we destroy a nation.
Okay.
So I'll twist it up just a hair.
Oh, because I was only waiting for constipation again. I said, this dude say constipation on this mic one more time. He's serious.
Well, all I was going to say is if you're not careful, validation will cause you to be clogged up.
Constipation.
Well,
dang, he made me say it.
Destroyed in the mind.
Oh, man. You hear him, man. He always put it to you, man. That's my brother, man. He got a way with words. He might sing for you. You don't know. You never know how he coming. The boy might tap dance here on the mic. I don't know. He might drop a beat. You know, he'll freestyle any moment. Impromptu, that's what he is. I don't have that skill like that. Or am I doing it right now? I don't know. Do I?
Oh, man, you're fascinating.
Oh, thank you. Stroked? That what you're doing?
A little bit.
Okay.
Keep
it in the brain, though.
God's grace.
All right.
You know, one of the things that we want to always represent is spirituality. You know, we want God to touch us and guide our steps every single day. So sometimes I ask myself questions like, man, I would love to sit at the table with Jesus. So in order to do such, I got to keep checking myself in the mirror.
explain.
See, Jesus was a peculiar person. He wasn't natural or normal to the masses or society.
Do you think Jesus looked for validation?
Never.
Not at all. So if you try to be Christ-like, also, validation cannot exist. The need for validation cannot exist, man. 'Cause, when you think about what Jesus Christ went through, there is no way you can live that life and be searching for validation. No way.
See, Jesus trusted that God was guiding the steps, not people.
The only validation he needed.
Not people.
Not people, man. Well, we ain't gonna hold you long tonight, guys. But you do know what just happened to you. You just got stroked up. Go to social media. You guys should know it by now at Stroked STROK'D _ the podcast at Stroked STROK'D _ the podcast. Good night. Bye.